back, and we are live. Welcome back to the Early Birds podcast, where we will be discussing tonight's episode, Survivor Wisconsin, episode 4, Calm versus Chaos. I'm your host, Richie. I'm here with my co-host.
I'm Aleks.
I'm also Aleks. Thank you for tuning in. Let's break it down, baby.
Yeah, we're very excited to have you guys here tonight. There's a lot of fun information we'll be talking tonight, including the events of tonight's episode. We'll be answering your guys' questions live, and we will also be giving you guys a sneak peek at the end for next episode. So without further ado, I think we should just continue it right off where we left off last time. Should we?
Might as well.
Yes.
So last time, the cliffhanger, they said, it left us a cliffhanger, pull the heroes versus villains. It was drop your expectations. They all thought they were swapping. They didn't swap. They're in the same tribe as they usually are. Yeah, no, that's you. You're just like Mitch from 48. You're like...
Not this time, kid.
So... well, unlike you, or unlike Mitch, you can actually make a move, so I'll give you that. So jokes aside, it was drop your expectations. They're still the same tribes. They did not swap this episode, so they're still the same tribes for this episode at least. Could it happen in the future? Maybe, maybe not. Who knows? But right now, same tribes. And we get to the third challenge of the season. And we'll quickly discuss it before we get into the results of this challenge and how it all went. The challenge is pretty much Ultimate Frisbee. First tribe to get 3 points. You have to kind of throw it to your opponents. If you played Ultimate Frisbee, you do know how. I should know this because I actually used to play Ultimate Frisbee in college. I used to play Ultimate Frisbee in college, and I should know this. Like, I should know the rules of Ultimate Frisbee. I don't, but you kind of have to like toss it to your other tri-mates, get it into the little like score box. Not score box.
The end zone.
It's like any other hand.
That word for like so long. I'm like, why can I not remember words today?
It's like any other hand-based sport, like football or handball, as we saw in the New Blood season. Go check out that challenge if you haven't. It was a really good one.
Well, that reminds me, if you haven't seen tonight's episode or past episodes or past seasons, the fuck are you doing? Go and watch them. I also, we're score box.
Go and watch them. Otherwise, Richie's going to hit you with his inflatable bat.
Yes, I do. I love it when we can collab with like this Steib. It really makes me feel good. I will be in your closet with this little bat. Actually, I probably should not have said that on live. I probably shouldn't have said that joke on live.
Richie, come out of my closet. Get the hell out of there.
I mean, it was in a closet all of high school, so I don't think much is going to change with that.
But yeah, no, it's your typical, Ultimate Frisbee game. First to 3 points wins, and we do see, a very competitive game. There's a lot of, a lot of people really playing to, win, and so love to see it. Everybody was, playing like very hard, and you can kind of tell after the challenge because everybody was just dead after that.
Exhausted, yeah.
It was pretty damn hot outside at that point as well. So.
Right, and it's like I said multiple times. This was our worst season weather-wise, in my opinion. There was the first half of the game alone was so humid that it was really hot. And I know you guys disagree with me on this, but I stand by it. It's the worst season we had. We're worst weather-wise. Great. Is a lot of fun stuff though. I think with the weather because that's what makes it unique. Is that the weather wasn't like sunny and clear skies. That's why I think made this season really interesting. So I'm not going to get into all of that right now. But, this challenge, though, I do think it was a very fun challenge. I do think this is a very fun challenge. Very interesting thing. We do see a lot of fun stuff. Like, I think Julie's trying to throw it out to someone, and Sam jumps out, and he's all, like, smacks it down, Like, do you guys ever see that, like, Robot Chicken sketch where, like, they like parody Star Wars and then like, yes, I know, added to the ADHD counter. I don't care.
Off scripture as well.
What? Wait, no, it was literally like Anakin flirting with Padme. She like slams down. She's like rejected. Like I started thinking of that and laughing so hard. I think in the back of my head when Nolan or Sam did that. And that challenge of Julie. So sorry, that was the ADHD counter added onto it.
Going off script. But yeah, As you can kind of see in the chat, Pink Tribe was struggling a lot just because of how athletic the Yellow Tribe was, and Judd Quinn, who played at Ultimate Frisbee in high school, I think he said, and Jimmy, who's just like this fucking huge, just tall guy in the middle, just kind of grabbing everything. So yeah, it was it was kind of one-sided, but there was it was very competitive through and through. So
yeah, like no one really gave up, and I do like that this challenge was definitely a new challenge that we haven't done before. Like Ultimate Frisbee is a fun sport. I really do like that we brought it in as a bit of a challenge. I thought it was a really fun, unique challenge. I was really happy that we had this challenge. Steib, what are your thoughts on this?
Yeah, just more of the same thoughts. It was a very fun challenge in concept, and we'll get to the results and how competitive those results were in a moment. But I think it's a very fun challenge to do, and I'm glad we upped the score total to 3 points. I think that's always fun, especially in larger group challenges like this. It's fun to see everybody active like that. I was really impressed. Yeah.
Anything else you guys want to say before we get to the result of the challenge?
No.
All right. So, with a score of 3-0, is if the comment section didn't already basically spoil it for those of you who didn't watch it, just went straight to here. Vivesi wins immunity, safe from the vote. Felemu go into tribal council, where someone will be the 5th person voted out of the game. And honestly, I mean, it was kind of fun to watch that challenge act go out. Like that big of a like when it ended, I was like, was it really 3-0? With how many like out of bounds?
It sure was.
Yeah.
But yeah, there was, because that Frisbee flew pretty well, so it was, if you threw it hard, that thing was going like 50 yards downfield.
Yep. And we saw that evidently in the footage, especially on that first kickoff or throw off, where the disc just goes flying way up into the sand of the volleyball pit. It's a very
set the tone for the challenge.
Yeah, no, it's a very fun challenge. If you have experience playing with an Ultimate Frisbee before in like gym class or anything, you'll probably have an easy time doing it. But it's also about keeping the team coordinated and keeping people moving forward up the field, but keeping them back defensively too. And yeah, no, it didn't fare well for Filemu. So yeah.
Yeah. So speaking
part of the game, though.
Speaking of Filemu, there is the wheel twist that they have where Filemu gets to spin the wheel this round. Julie goes up and spins it. It lands on Chaos, which means that they will be able to pick one person from the Outcasts group to attend Tribal Council and see what happens at that Tribal Council as a whole. And I definitely think it's very interesting, and we'll get to who they picked later on, because I forget if it was announced here or at the Outcast thing, but I think it's better to just talk about it at the Outcast thing, just because we'll give a little bit more to talk about with that point of it. But yeah, what did you guys think of the wheel?
I think it's a good chaos twist to bring a player from the Outcast tribe into. To watch the tribal, because we will talk about the person who came and watched later, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So yeah, we'll talk about him or her later, but I do feel like it's kind of a good vantage point for a person who is right now on the outs, waiting to come back into the game to see how kind of tribal dynamics are still working on the tribe, and kind of see if anything is like kind of sticking out to them. So I do find it I do find it pretty cool as a little twist.
Yeah, I agree. It's a neat little twist. In the game of Survivor, information is power, and for somebody from the Outcast tribe to be able to view this upcoming tribal council and try to get a read on who's potentially working with who, and who's potentially somebody that I could work with if I were to have some sort of twist like the Outcast twist go my way, and if I weren't able to get back into this game, what could I do? So yeah, no, it's a very fun twist, and I'm glad we got to see it.
Yeah, and I definitely agree with a lot of your guys' points with that too. Like that could be regardless of whatever happens with the outcast twist or anything like that. They basically, I mean, because right now the players in the game don't fully know it's the outcast twist. They just kind of know, like, hey, like someone who has a potential to get back in is going to be watching our tribal council, and that can do wonders if you are able to get back in the game, regardless of if it's 1 or 2, because that's free information right there. I mean, regardless whatever happens with Filemu, at least 1 or 2 or whatever of those are guaranteed to make merge, depending on when they merge. However, it could be small amount of people. We've seen seasons where they don't merge as late, so it's like 7 or 8. We've seen seasons where they merge early at like 11 or 12. So it's like they never know when the merge is going to be, and that's valuable information for anyone on the outcast to have. So I definitely think it's a very fun twist that could possibly have potential impact on the game long term in a really, really good way. So not a game breaking way. So anything else you guys want to say about this before we go on to Vivesi?
No.
All right.
Yeah, let's go over.
So Vivesi, I'll kind of do a brief summary again, and then I'll pass on to you guys to talk a little bit more into depth with certain things. I'll add my commentary here and there. They continue to go searching for idols and advantages or whatever. Sam reveals that it was the hidden immunity idol that he found back, I believe, in episode 2, I believe it was. There was Vince ends up saying that he knows where the advantage is. He tells Nolan to guard for it, but then Nolan basically goes out and gets it when Vince's back is turned, leading to Vince being a little upset about it. But seems to be a pretty steady alliance going with Vince and Jimmy, Nolan and Sam. Borderline leaving Quentin and Tony on the outs. And Sam has his little idol in the Pringles thing. Jimmy has some really fun content of him basically kind of like kicking around leaves and stuff or mulch, and he's all like, I've done this before, you know, and that was my favorite part. I think that's kind of the big gist of it. If you guys want to go into the smaller details I may have missed.
Yeah, so some highlights from Vivesi. Nolan's trying to string along a alliance of 4 with Quentin, Vinny, and Sam. So that's kind of a one thing to highlight, kind of, because we've not really seen an alliance type formed yet, really, on that tribe. It's all just kind of been, the vibe tribe. So, so it is cool seeing kind of like a small alliance form with having the numbers on their side as well. And then Vinny finding the advantage and having to go to do a confessional and kind of like be like, I found it. I'm having Nolan guard it right now, so Nolan takes it, and then Nolan takes it right after, and then Tony does see Nolan take the advantage, and they both lock eyes, and then they go talk about it. And then what else? Oh yeah, Vinny comes back and he's just kind of mad on the concrete by the girl, just like pouting a little bit because it was taken. So yeah, I still find Vinny like as like the funniest character on this cast, because he's just like Judd from
Guatemala.
Yeah, Fabio. Yeah, from Nicaragua. He's just there, just just being a vibe. But yeah,
right. And like Vin's a very entertaining character too, and honestly, because even though I think some people do hear more on throughout the episode that like Nolan does find the advantage, I think it's also basically like, does Quentin know or does Quentin not know? Just to refresh my memory.
Quentin does not know about either the idol or the advantage.
Yeah, well, the big thing here too is that Vince and Nolan. Vince basically knows, like, hey, I told Nolan where it was, and he went and grabbed it, when my back was turned. And I mean, could he use that for leverage? Could he use that as information, like, hey, like we told each other first where it was? Who knows? It could be used for trust thing. I think that was kind of interesting to think about. Yeah.
Or maybe Nolan just took it because Tony was there maybe, and he just wanted to grab it before Tony grabbed it, because I know Tony right now is kind of on the outs, because I think all he has is really Jimmy. So maybe Nolan did that. We don't know until he kind of talks about it.
A little bit more.
Yeah, but we'll see.
Yeah, Aleks? It's a lot of interesting dynamics right now in this early pivotal part of the game. It certainly pays to win, and congratulations to Vivese on getting the important win here. And it seems like their whole vibe is staying tribe strong. And while there are people on the outs that could be voted off if necessary, it seems like there's a lot of relationships developing between everybody in all these different alliances. It remains to be seen who's going to be able to outlast everybody else. It's going to be very interesting. I'm certainly happy that all advantages have been found at this stage. Of course, my old gripe of trying to find things inconspicuously, and unfortunately, Vivese could not accomplish that with either advantage find. But it remains to be seen how well potentially these advantages could be used. So only time will tell.
Yeah, I 100% agree with that, Steib. It's never about just having it. It's about how you use it. Even just the information of knowing who has what can be very beneficial towards the game of, hey, this person has an idol. This can be very valuable information for the vote at hand, or even creating like faux targets, if you will.
Yeah, that's kind of why Jimmy didn't pick up the idol, because he did talk about it in this episode. Like, yeah, I know Sam has the idol. I didn't want to take the idol, so.
And we've seen similar moves like that in the past, especially as recent as the New Blood season, where the villain of the year, John V, he would see fellow Survivor players finding advantages left and right, but he could use that information, and he was able to go really far and make a lasting impact on the game we play. So
yeah, like how Kira's idol, he said go get it, because they're all him, Maddie, and John. We're all just standing there, and Kira grabbed it, and then that helps that kind of bond a more cohesive bunch then, knowing that, hey, one of my allies, has an idol, that's great. But it also, help to, pose a threat on somebody. So, yeah, knowledge is key in this game, and knowing who has the idol is huge. And we also get that, up from Jimmy, knowing that he has context in that Sam has the idol. So we'll see how that goes, I guess.
Yeah, and then just to refresh my memory, then Nolan, was there content of Nolan saying what his advantage was this episode, or was that more for the future?
No, there was no context on what was
no reveal.
All right. No, that's good to hear. I assumed that. I just wanted to make sure that I didn't miss anything.
Yeah, which leaves one advantage left on Filemu to be found, I guess, because they have both idols found. They have the advantage on Vivese, and then yeah,
and then obviously, I mean, Sam and Quentin are kind of talking about it. Quentin, like, I think we did briefly talk about this last recap about how Quentin basically revealed to everyone that he was the one who voted for Sam alongside Richard, which I do understand the idea of being honest about it, because at this point they're going to find out eventually. But at the same time, it's like Quentin borderline becomes like the bottom rung of the alliance. And as the four alliance talks, the Vivesi four talk about with how it kind of just turns into Quentin and Tony at the bottom, with a larger chance that Quentin's kind of the target should they go to another tribal before swap or merge or anything of that sort. And they're both basically kind of talking about each other. And I mean, I don't know. I kind of feel like the dynamics are very obvious here, but it's very like entertaining people at the top. If that makes sense, I don't know.
Not that I don't know, because they do. No, Nolan contracted this 4-person alliance kind of.
Yeah.
With Quinn, Vinny, and Sam. So who would really know what would happen if they go to tribal as a tribe? So.
Right, you never know, because it's a 4-person alliance right now. It doesn't mean it's gonna stick. I think we found it out in Evolution, Aleks, right?
Yeah.
We found out the in our season, so like you never know. It could just crumble the first second it happens, or they could stick together for like one vote, and then when they realize like, oh shit, if we have to vote again, like, ultimate chaos could happen. Who knows? I mean, we know, but you guys don't. Anyways, is there anything else we really want to talk about with Vivesi?
I don't think so. Everything else was kind of said already.
Yeah,
Steib?
I think we're good.
Oh, okay. So then we will move on to the Outcast. There was one small segment where it was revealed who Filemu had picked to go to Tribal Council and kind of observe from those there. And it was revealed that Joe was the one selected to go over there, which even Joe kind of seemed like a little surprised about that he was selected to go over there. And I definitely think it's really possibly like a good indicator for Joe's game that I definitely think that it's definitely a very good thing for Joe's game that he is being selected. It definitely shows like he could possibly have some inroads with them depending on who is still in the game, who is still around. And I think it's mostly kind of just them, again, getting a recap of like, hey, this is how the Outcast quiz is going to go. And I do kind of feel bad for Joey because Joey's kind of sitting there. He clearly really wants to play the game. He wants to be involved. He's like desperately saying like, are you sure it wasn't me? And like, I felt so bad for him in that moment. I'm like, I felt so bad for him. But Joe is the one selected to go. I know it's not much to talk about, but like just judging from their reaction, some of the stuff that happened, is there anything you guys want to talk about like regarding their pick of Joe and what that could possibly mean going forward if any of the Outcasts get back in the game?
Yeah, I find it interesting them picking Joe. Like when I was, filming, I would have thought they would have picked somebody from the other tribe to come along like Joy or Richard. But having Joe come back and kind of watch, I guess, Tribal just to see how tribe dynamics are, watching from the outside, I guess. A smart choice, I guess, but I don't know. I found it just very interesting that they picked Joe to come and not another person from like Vivesi to come watch and see, but
Yeah, I'm gonna have to agree with you on the pick being interesting. Although I will say I do believe the pick makes sense coming from the tribe of Filemu, because I feel like a move like this between the tribe as a whole who just lost and is going to tribal, I feel like their move is to try and save a little face and to try and bring back somebody that they did vote off in the means of, okay, well, we don't know what the battle back could look like yet. We might as well bring back somebody from our own tribe and try to give them a little bit of extra information. Potentially, maybe that means they would be more likely to work with us and potentially rebuild that bridge versus trying to throw another number to another side in the future.
Yeah, I definitely agree with everything you guys were saying, and I definitely think it's going to be a pretty interesting thing overall going forward. So, sorry, I cannot speak today. Anything else we really want to talk about with the Outcast?
Look at Devin's question because that kind of leads.
Yeah, I just saw that now. Yeah, what do you guys think of that as a twist? Too minor of an impact? I think I don't know if we can say too much into it without it like.
So, just like the twist in general, like having somebody to watch, I guess. I find it fine because we did have two back-to-back like really chaotic, spins on the wheels. So I guess having like one where it's like not too crazy, kind of it's still a good twist, but having it be a lesser twist, kind of, it makes sense because you don't want to keep like pounding people with a chaos, like insane chaos twist, because that would just be like way too much chaos. So I did like it how it was still chaotic, but like not to like a full extent, like a instant tribal or like something like totally monumental kind of. So I find it fine.
Yeah,
Sorry, you go first.
Oh, okay. Thank you. I second that. I think it was an absolutely fair twist to have. To be completely honest, I think it's absolutely fair for people that were voted off to potentially observe a future tribal council like that. Not just because they don't exactly know what's going on, but I imagine, like, based on the results of these votes, a lot of people are going into them without many clues or without all the clues as well. So I think at the end of the day, it's a very chaotic season. And I think to have something like that, something fair to balance it out, to make it not too chaotic, but something like a twist like that, I think that was a really good place to have it.
Yeah, I definitely agree with a lot of that. There's a definitely a lot of sorry, again, I can't speak today, but talking about like in the moment, I definitely think it's like I said before, it gives a very good opportunity because you don't know if an outcast is going to get back in the game, but it does give that potential for them to look at it and be like, oh, okay, like they at least get the potential to have information that they could utilize to their advantage, and maybe even that outcast could specifically hold on to information and say like, no, I'm not going to give it to you guys. If you want one of us to win, you have to vote me back in. I don't know. I think there could be some interesting stuff with that hopefully maybe we'll get to see. In terms of the impact of it. So yeah. So moving on, I think that's what we want to talk about with this twist before we move on. Or
No.
Let's get to the pink tribe.
Yeah, so let's go to Filemu. On Filemu, there is again kind of the brief summary. It kind of very quickly the four-person group of Jake, Jamil, I said it right this time, I hope, Kayla and Dan kind of come together, and it borderline becomes Nick versus Julie. At one point, Nick and Julie try to consider pitching Kayla. However, not much really happens from it. So as a result of that, the votes kind of center onto them. However, Jamil tries to put a good word in for Nick, if I recall correctly, and then Kayla starts to consider and using her idol pretty soon. I know Julie ends up saying that she wants a gun for Kayla at one point. I think if there's probably a lot I missed, I think you guys should go into, since again it is your tribe, you guys' film. So
yeah. So the kind of like lines that were kind of formed was Dan and Kayla are the strong two, and then you have Jamil kind of riding that third with Dan and Kayla. Julie is sort of out, kind of in the outs, as well as Nick, because no one's really kind of like aligned with them. Jake is also kind of like out, but like he's also kind of aligned with Julie in a way. So right now it is kind of like a toss-up still, because no one's really aligned heavily with one another. You do have Dan and Kayla and Jamil kind of having that three-person thing still. But yeah, we kind of see kind of the first instance of like Nick and Julie kind of talking game, and Nick is still on the manhunt to take out Kayla, which is just kind of like a season-long thing at this point, and it's kind of funny to watch, because like if Nick didn't see what,
I was making a joke saying like rivals.
Yeah, if Nick didn't see Kayla find the idol, he wouldn't be like totally like pushing her name out, I guess. But I just find it funny. I was kind of just been kind of going like just following along each tribe where they're at, and then you do have kind of like Jake and Jamil kind of talking a bit, and like kind of both of those two players are playing a really good under the radar game as well. Let me just put that out there. They're both really quiet, but also taking a lot of info because people just come to them naturally. And then you do have Dan and Kayla trying to push for Nick to get voted out. So there is a lot of talking going on, and there is a lot of names being thrown out. The main three being Nick, Kayla, and Julie. And we do see a trouble how the votes go down and yada yada. But like I do find it cool how like there's really no like alliance really going on. It's all kind of like small individual groups of people kind of talking, as kind of like one mega alliance just kind of taking out the bottom feeders. So yeah. Steib.
Yeah, I'll take it away. I wasn't sure if we were going to talk about the comments that are popping up, but I just like to say thank you all for being here at the early bird breakdown. Thank you for watching. Be sure to subscribe if you aren't, and be sure to stay tuned to Wednesday when we got our next episode coming out. We'll have a breakdown after that too. Yeah, put away that bat. No.
I'll take the hammer instead. How about that?
I'll show you a hammer.
I definitely will go over some of that again on
No.
At the end. Yes, I will go at the end.
No, I'm gonna get back to the talking point we were on.
I thought you were joking, but okay, never. I'll shut up.
Yeah, we're good. No, it's a very fun strategizing session at this point. There's very similar to the other tribe. There's a lot of potential bonds that are about to be tested, and there's some stronger bonds that we saw running earlier vote outs in the season. Those bonds are finally starting to show cracks a little bit because people like Dan, he did know Jules outside of the game, and he was trying to do what he could to try and keep her from going out. And it's interesting to see all these possible outcomes that could happen. And it's interesting because Kayla, while still being a major target in plenty of Philemu's eyes, she's still got that idol. It remains to be seen if she could have used that at that tribal and if it would have been worth it. So it's very interesting to see going forward how this tribe will shape the future for the Pink tribe.
Yeah. I do find it cool how, Dan and Julie weren't really aligned, even though they knew each other out of the game. It's pretty cool to see that kind of happening, kind of like, we've seen in the other season as well where people knew each other but didn't really make it like a huge like thing either. Like they really kept it under the wraps, and I find it pretty cool how they did a pretty good job of that as well, kind of keeping it under the radar and like knowing each other, but like not really, making it very seen. Because looking at the thing, like you would think Kayla and Dan would know each other because they were like tied to the hip like the whole time. So I do find it funny how like just natural, just like natural alliances are like kind of made like that. So yeah.
Yeah, I think the chaos that we kind of saw from this tribe, especially at the end of last episode where we were kind of revealed that Philemu was the calm tribe, there definitely was a lot of chaos going on this episode with that, and the strategizing was really fun to see. I definitely agree with Devin's comment on that. The strategizing was very fun to watch. It was definitely a very good, great content, especially where like Nick is trying to make sure his ass is safe, like still kind of running along the edge of just kind of running along the edge of the game, and so I'm just trying to read the comment from Dan we got. We were too focused keeping us knowing each other's strategize together.
You guys did a pretty good job, But yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot of really fun content from this tribe, especially with it being back and forth, like actual suspense. Where some seasons, especially ones that I've played in, like some examples, some of the Whitewater days, like if you knew, like if one target was flown around, there was a 90% chance that first name thrown out was going to be the target. And now in like some of the last couple seasons, all because your name's thrown out first doesn't mean it's going to be you. So at least like I definitely think it's very entertaining to kind of see it happen where it's like, is it Nick? Is it Julie? Could Caleb be at risk? Could anyone else be at risk? Like, I don't know. I really do think it's really good for Nick's game as well that Jamil is going out of his way to help him out as well throughout the episode. And it could spell more for Nick's game going later. It could spell a lot of good things for Nick's game going later, going forward in the game. Should he make it further in the game? Who really knows? So, anything else we really have to say for Philemu?
Yeah, like I find it pretty cool how Jamil, again, he's really doing a really good job of kind of, being in every conversation, just kind of knowing, who he can trust and like who he can't trust, and kind of like flipping votes and kind of keeping numbers on his side, which is a really well done. In these like past couple of episodes, that he's really done a good job of kind of having numbers on his side of going into tribal. And I do want to highlight Jake because we've not talked about Jake at all. But like Jake has just been also playing a very under the radar game, and like his name has not been thrown out there once. Maybe his name was written down once. I'm pretty sure maybe. I don't recall.
In that very first Filemu tribal.
Yeah, I don't think, but like he's just been again just playing a very
a lot of names were thrown out then.
He's doing a lot of listening and still telling people what they want to hear. So I gotta give my props to Jake because he's just been doing a really good job.
Right.
Kind of like Jamel, kind of being on the right side of the vote. Kind of. I think he voted right this time around.
Yeah. And I agree with that.
Yeah, I want to give some Jake love to him too because I saw he had these really cool bracelets on that I really liked, and I commented on the last. I'm like, those are really cool bracelets. So and Jake, 100% agree with that. Jake is in a very good spot in the tribe because no one seems to be saying his name in any way whatsoever. His name's not being thrown out. He's possibly the safest in the tribe. And last season, that was borderline kind of like Taylor in the pre-merge where no one was saying her name. She was pretty like in cahoots with the people who were seemingly in charge of the tribe in general. So could that spell something good for his game? Who really knows? Yeah. There's a
I do also want to shout out Nick because he did a pretty good job of kind of avoiding getting voted off here as well. He kind of kept his cool, but was still kind of frantically, trying to keep his name out of many people's mouths just because he did. Like a couple episodes ago, he did script the slide puzzle, and he's still kind of being very, really, just I don't know, but yeah, he did a very good job of keeping people, the people's names out of his mouth and kind of turning the vote onto either Kayla or Julie, and hopefully he stays longer because he's doing a really good job of kind of avoiding the votes and still being threat to people, but like doing a really good job of kind of hiding his threat level, I guess.
And Nick is playing really hard. Like, I mean, another shout out for Nick too, but like Nick is playing very hard. He's not afraid to kind of say what needs to be said. And I think that's a very valuable thing in Survivors, having someone who definitely will go along with the vote if necessary, but will also be very open to like anything whatsoever. And we've seen primarily really great like potential and a lot of great moves from Nick so far, both socially and strategically in his game to try to propel his game forward. And I mean, watching right now, I mean, in the moment of this, I'm looking at it, I'm like, yeah, I don't think Nick could be like going home anytime soon. So I mean, that's at least the way I would think of it, that I was thinking about it watching the game unfold and everything in the time being. So, Steib, is there anyone that you want to specifically talk about from Filemu before we move on?
No, at this stage of the game, everybody is trying to progress that a little further, and it remains to be seen how those bonds will be tested. So, I think let's potentially move forward to the results of the Tribal Council.
One thing I forgot to mention, Dan and Kayla Alani seemingly have a really close connection with each other. And then we briefly talked about that. My nickname for their alliance is Pink Cats. That's my
the Pink Cat Alliance.
Yes.
I think that was christened in the live chat.
Yeah, I was wondering.
There you
go.
But yeah, that's a really cool 2% alliance. Even though I think a lot of the tribe knows that they're kind of like a duo right now.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, I do like Dan's comment with Jake because he does make people feel comfortable with him, and like people will come to him to talk, and like people love and people want to come and strategize with him as well because he's just like a very like warm welcome guy, But yeah, we've just not talked about Jake a lot because he's just been not shown or like not really been involved in a lot of the votes, but like Jake's doing a really good job right now on Filemu.
He's with the votes and he's not going home. A+.
That's right. And early on, I think I've said this before in multiple seasons, we've had done breakdowns with that. You need to keep your head down, your mouth shut is usually the best way to get through the first part of the game. That's usually why I'm out very early because I don't like not opening my mouth. But that's,
you don't like shutting up.
Do you?
Yes.
Bullshit.
Yes, I do.
Anyways, one thing I do want to comment before we move on to tribal stuff is commenting on outfits and accessories. One thing I'll say right that is that coming from a communication major, the things you wear can definitely send a lot of nonverbals to people on there are studies done about the colors you wear can send different messages to people. The stuff you wear could definitely bring people together. I think it definitely is really interesting to see what some people wear and how it could potentially relate to the game and how some people could even bond over certain things that they could see. So that's coming from the comm major. I don't always get to talk about that much, but when I do see something I get to talk about with nonverbals and some small stuff like that. So moving on, do you guys want to talk about anything else before we talk about tribal council?
I don't think so.
Aleks, what are you doing? You have a devious grin in your face.
Hashtag free Aleks in the chat.
No, hashtag get Corey. Hashtag lock him up. King of the... That's a good one. I'll let you have that one. I love that one.
That's pretty good.
It's just kind of funny how you just bring up your, communications major at some random ass times. Okay, here we go again.
Because it was talking about accessories and stuff, and we had a whole unit
kind of funny.
One of the classes I took in communication about nonverbals and nonverbal communication, how a lot of the clothing, facial expressions, how you approach people, how all that can definitely come into play when in the game itself. And so
of course it does. Everybody's processing information at their own rate, and there's multiple forms of information.
Yes.
I felt like typing it out would be way funnier than me saying it.
Of course.
I will give you that.
Yeah.
That was really funny. Good
All
job.
right, well, I think on that note, let's go to tribal.
Yeah.
Tribal council. Tribal council number 5. Before the vote, I don't think there's really a lot of big notable things, I feel like, unless you guys, outside of Joe kind of being there, watching tribal council, they're kind of reacting to Joe being there. I mean, I don't know if it felt like there was a lot, but what do you guys want to talk about from before the voting?
I'm very proud that Dan didn't forget his question. Props to him.
Yes, good job, Dan.
But yeah, there was a lot of really interesting things said during tribal, because people are still trying to figure out who they want to vote for, and didn't want to say too much to get blood on their hands. So yeah, there was really a lot of stuff said during tribal that was really standoutish, really. So yeah.
Yeah, tribal was pretty light on too much information or too many big moments like that or sound bites. But yeah, it seemed like most of the tribe was pretty well made up. And yeah, let's get to the results.
All right. So just because I didn't major in math and because I hate math, do you guys want to tell me what the vote was again, just to make sure I have it right? I think I know, but you guys remind me?
4-2.
Okay, by vote of 4-2. Sorry, we're not gonna do. Okay, thank you. I was waiting for a drum roll.
Sorry, I missed it.
Okay. Fifth person voted out of Survivor Wisconsin 8, Calm versus Chaos, Julie. Pretty big blind side, I guess, at the time, because Julie was seemingly in a really good spot after last episode, getting along with a lot of people. However, people seemingly started to question if she would run the tables later on. So Julie's kind of, yeah. What do you guys have to say about that?
Yeah, Julie did have a good position last tribal, but then I think her kind of throwing out Kayla's name, and then Nick kind of twisting that and and then putting it on Julie, and then Jamil kind of going around and trying to get the votes to vote him out, kind of did her dirty there. But that's just a game, and if you said the wrong name, it'll kind of bite you in the butt. But Julie, love her, very funny, very just blunt, and didn't care what people said. And yeah, she's a great player.
Well, she's on the outcast right now, so she could get back in.
She could get back in.
He's not saying he's not saying she's not
good, but I'm just.
Why are you insinuating?
I'm not. I'm just reminding people of that in case they forgot. I'm just reminding for it.
Yeah.
I did like the comment. She braided a girl's hair and voted her out.
It's a cold world, and yeah, it's unfortunate to see Hot Girl Jules get voted out here. And she is, as later revealed, she is still an outcast. So it remains to be seen what will happen there. But she did seem pretty accepting of it, considering that, like you said, she was very blunt and very entertaining like that. Not afraid to speak her mind and let the game be game and try to make moves. So yeah, respect to Jules.
Yeah, and yeah, she does have a chance to return in the game, and we'll see what happens. But yeah, you know what? She was a really good player for that tribe as well, and too bad, she got voted out, but like, it was a good vibe. She brought to the tribe. She kind of brought a little bit of chaos as well, and just a bit of chaos into the tribe as well, even though she was, on the Calm tribe. So I did find her funny.
Yeah, I definitely think that Jules was definitely very so far from what we've seen from Julie, is that she was a very unique player we've had, especially kind of being like a very blunt woman, which I feel like a lot of the women we've had on in the past are rarely blunt or as like I don't want to say expressive. Is that the right
Yeah,
word?
I think that's fair.
Yeah, like
mainly because we've never had an even amount of girls and boys, so of course all other girls just want to play more of a quieter game until the merge because they know that they are outnumbered sometimes, which kind of sucks. But like, yeah,
I feel like the closest person we maybe would have gotten to someone like Julie is maybe like Abby in One World 2, or maybe even like I don't know. What other girls can we really think of? I mean, Melia for Captain's Curse. What?
I said Kayla this season, I guess. So,
kind of, yeah. Which I do want to kind of. Oh, speaking of, I want to kind of highlight this again with like Julie saying this about Kayla, and then Julie getting voted out. Like, I mean, could that possibly spell something for Kayla's game later down the road? Who knows? But the fact that Jules, I recall correctly, I think it was Julie who said this, and then Julie gets voted out this episode, sent to the outcast. I mean, who's to say next episode if this does or does not come back to like get in people's mindsets, or if it just is a lost comment on a deaf choir. I thought it was interesting when I heard that, because I'm like, oh, that's really interesting, because anything at Tribal Council could come back to haunt people in the future. You never know. So, Steib, is there anything else you want to say that you haven't gotten to say yet? Because I feel like
other than saying Hot Girl Jules.
No. Well, that was that was the name she was given on the first episode. I don't know. I was just thinking with it.
Funny.
No, but no, I think we've said all there is to say, to be honest.
Yeah. So then I guess we can go to player of the episode, I guess. If there's nothing else left to talk about.
I don't think we do. I was waiting for you guys because I want to make sure you guys got a chance to talk. Yeah. So, player of the episode, there are a lot of people I could definitely think of.
Well, Richie, you're first, so
I was gonna
go ahead.
You two to go first.
I'm putting the pressure on
you. No,
you.
you.
Why me?
Because I started, I think, the first one, and then Steib was the first, I think, last episode. So I think we're back to you now.
Okay. I definitely think there's a lot of really great people who've been playing the game so far. Ultimately, I do have to make my player of the episode Jamil, just because of the fact that I do think he's setting himself up in a really good way for the rest of the game at this current time. Who even knows if he even gets to that point in the game? But I think Jamil is putting himself in a very good spot going forward by trying to make really good bonds with people who may be seen as on the bottom, people who may be seen as the top, maybe who can make a whole new majority alliance. Who knows? Like, I feel like Jamil has been in this episode, seemed to be in a lot of power and control of this tribe. So Jamil is my player of the episode this episode. So
yeah, not Dan spoiling who mine is as well. But yeah, I feel like we're giving Jamil a big ego boost now, because Jamil is also my player of the episode. Because him bringing in Nick and having Kayla, and I think who else voted for Julie? Did Dan vote for Julie? Because those Nick,
Dan voted for Nick.
Jamil, Kayla, and someone else voted for him as well. Yeah, Nick and Kayla. So yeah, him.
That's what I thought.
Okay, then yeah, Dan. So yeah, him swaying them to vote for him swinging Jake as well along to vote for Julie. Him doing a lot of the dirty work needed to get the votes flipped on Julie. He did a really good job with that. So that's why he's my player of the episode.
Yeah, no, you two make very valid points, of course. Once you revealed your pick, I was debating, should I give Jamil the sweep or should I potentially throw this out to a second choice? And I think
we say give it to the grill as the player of the episode,
grill?
The grill. Yeah.
No.
That's a fair way to look at it. I'm gonna go ahead and bring out the brooms. It's a sweep, baby. The player of the episode for me is also Jamil. Shocker. Like y'all
out the wazoo now with this.
Yeah, and like y'all had said, pulling.
Yeah.
Like y'all were saying, pulling the votes to get Jules out of the game. That's what secured this player of the episode. To be honest, it was Jamil's playing his butt off, and we love seeing it. Honestly, I will say my second choice. It actually relates to the grill that you were mentioning. I'd have to say my second option would have been Nolan because hey, at least he was on the winning tribe. At least he's in a pretty solid position within his tribe and with the relationships he's building. And even though it wasn't inconspicuous that he found some sort of advantage, he found some sort of advantage. It wasn't revealed yet. Hopefully we'll find out next episode. Be sure to tune in Wednesday, 6 p.m. CST. I think Nolan is making big moves, and I thought he would have been a fair player of the episode, but yeah, let's go ahead and throw it to Jamil. Let's bring out the brooms, not the hammers, not the bats.
Because if we just stepped at Vivesse Tribe, Nolan would have easily been of course my player of the episode. No, he's just in a very good position with his alliance of 4 and finding that advantage as well. Just him kind of being a huge factor on that tribe now. Good for him. But yeah, Jamil just kind of took it over.
Yeah, I definitely agree with a lot of what you guys are saying. Like, Nolan would be an honorable mention to talk about for this episode being player of the episode. Another honorable mention I'll throw out there is Jake, because as we were talking about before, Jake, I feel like, is in one of the best spots in this game because no one's thinking about going for him. Everyone likes him. He's super chill with everyone. So, I mean, who knows? It's like I said, the social game is very important. If you have everyone on your side before the merge even begins, that can be a very valuable asset once the merge hits. So...
yeah, Jake's getting like the purple edit for the season right now, basically.
Who knows? Maybe he could be like Natalie White or Brett Klauser. Who really knows?
Yeah. There's not been a lot of Jake content, but he's doing a very good job. That's why I kind of wanted to highlight it because.
Yeah. I definitely do also want to give Nick another shout out because he was someone I definitely also thought of for player of the episode, even though. Seemingly, he seems like he could be at risk going forward. I do definitely think that he's very open and flexible. He is talking to people are saying like, oh, well, I'm targeting this person, but then he's going up and talking to them. He's not really just giving up with anything. I don't know. Is there anything?
I agree. Shout out to Nick. Yeah, I got to agree. Shout out to Nick. Survival is key. And however you keep surviving, that's victory. So, yeah.
I said the same thing, actually, Devin. Sorry, Alex and Steib, can continue. I just want to call us before this comment went by.
Yeah.
No, I'm good.
Yeah, I think I'm done with saying my piece for,
All right. So I think we can now go to viewer questions. So this is your time now to ask us questions about this season up to this point of episode 4 of this season. You can ask us about any of our past seasons, Whitewater, Wisconsin, whatever. You can ask us other questions about, maybe even like something that like maybe we'd want to see in the future. I don't know. This is your guys'
goddamn questions.
What do you say?
Straight up.
I'm a Catholic. I don't know if I could get away with
what's 3 times 4?
It's a threat.
It's a threat. Like, no. Give me your questions now. We do have a couple questions that just came up. Best episode so far, you guys think? I'm assuming for this season. I definitely think it's a really great episode. Yeah, I definitely think it's one of the better ones for sure for this season. One of the best ones because a lot of chaos, a lot of back and forth with the vote, a lot of very interesting things. So
I do like it. We do get a lot of conversations from both tribes, and it is good seeing a lot more of Babese because we've not gotten a lot of, their tribe dynamic, and it's cool, seeing how numbers align and on that tribe because now we're getting down in numbers now. So like, how is it gonna, how are tribe alliances gonna start forming and stuff like that? So yeah, I feel like it's been the best episode of the season so far.
I do agree that it was a really good episode. As far as between the four of them thus far, I'm gonna have to keep thinking on that. But in this episode, we did see the little payoff to the little cliffhanger with the drop your ... So we had a fun little cliffhanger to pay off. We had a fun challenge. We had players strategizing like chickens with their heads cut off. We had people finding advantages, and it was a very fun episode. Yeah, this might be the best one we've had so far in the season.
All right, I definitely think it's a great one for sure. Next one is from Richard. Do you think putting all the girls together in the same tribe restricted or prevented an all-girls alliance? That's a really good question, actually. Honestly, I'm kind of impartial with this question. I would kind of say like yes and no. I think it really is how people play the game. We've had a couple seasons we've had in the past where all the girls banded together pretty quickly. We've had other seasons where all the women went against each other really quickly. For this specific season, I don't know if we did anything, to be honest. I mean, just because from what we've seen so far, I don't think it really did anything up to this point for this season in regards to how targets have been set up and how they've been going out. I think it's more so about the game rather than men versus women. But I do think it's a very interesting question. What do you guys think?
I do find it like a cool what if because Kayla was supposed to be on, the Chaos Tribe, but then
that was revealed last episode.
Yeah, so it's a cool what if she was on the Chaos Tribe, and it looks like in the chat that Richard would try to work with her, and being on the Calm Tribe, she still works with Dan and Jamil and all those other people, so she's pretty good at holding her own and working with what she got. So I wouldn't see it as like a total not going to have one girl on the tribe with all men because now basically unless the people Alinda or Julie get back into the game. So but yeah make for a fun what if, but like I do feel like it's it is more easier just putting all those three girls on one tribe to see if they can form an alliance or like what would happen. So
yeah it's a good question, Richard. Thank you for asking it. It's really a matter of a double-edged sword because I am happy, and I think we're all happy on production side with putting the three ladies on one tribe, and it is if you look at the broad scope of it, if you're playing a game and if you're in a tribe of three ladies, you might think, okay, well, maybe they would band together. And then while that could be good for them working together, it could also put eyes on them and put targets on them. So it is interesting how you may look at it. And it is interesting to look at it in the what if scenario of, oh, I would have loved to have seen Kayla on the Chaos Tribe, or, oh, I would have loved to have seen Tony on the Calm Tribe. And yeah, it's a hard question to answer. And no, I think we made the right move, though.
Yeah, I like these hard questions, though, because it gets people really thinking. It gets, like, the juices flowing. So, I really like these hard questions. So, thank you for asking.
What kind of juice?
What do you say?
What kind of juice?
I don't think I can say it without being
Tropicana.
That's
yes,
my favorite.
Tropicana. Let's go with that. What'd you say?
I said. Okay. I'm just joking.
I think.
What's the next question? I said apple juice is my favorite.
Oh, okay. Not what
Fair.
I heard. Dan asks, did anyone ever lose a challenge as bad as we lost, Filemu lost at Frisbee?
Oh yeah, for sure.
Probably a couple times. Yeah, I think one that comes to mind is I feel is going to bring PTSD back for some people. Summer Solstice, when Savannah and Aaron were at that second challenge, and they actually had a pretty good lead at the start, but then I think it was it Savannah or Aaron that kind of unfortunately lost it for their tribe?
I think it was Savannah.
Yeah, and unfortunately, it was so bad for them because it started pouring during that time too. So it's like I felt so bad watching them. I was like, oh. That's one that comes to mind from some of my seasons. I can talk about. I don't know. I'm trying to think of a couple. If you guys want to talk about like one or two right now, why I think of like, because there's at least one I'm thinking of, but.
Yeah, last season, Atticus and Will, with the sand digging, that was kind of a fumble on their part. I'm trying to
That's
think
fair. Probably when I fell off the stupid balance beam at Final Four of Captain's Curse, and I got eliminated right after.
That wasn't a tribe one. I think of tribe challenges that totally.
It said anyone. It didn't say any tribe.
Okay.
But yeah, I get what you're saying.
Okay, yeah. Never mind.
I kind of feel like the closest. I mean, there's a couple close ones. I feel like Winter Ward, that second round, they had this challenge where like it was like borderline like a hero challenge where like one person was picked to do the challenge, and Targaryen tribe, we picked Colin. I think this is one actually right after you got voted off, Steib, where we picked Colin to, and you had to like pull a card and get the cup down. That was a pain in the ass for that challenge. That was such an obnoxious challenge. I think they did like 2 to 3 times, and every time I saw it, I'm like, this is so annoying to watch because like it happened. You have to like stack it up if it didn't fall right. You have to like pull a card goes down, pull another card, cup goes down until it goes all the way to the bottom, which unique challenge, but it was very.
I know a challenge that someone totally sucked at. Richie for the comeback challenge in Evolution.
Ouch! Too soon.
Too soon.
Yeah.
Too soon. Too soon.
I'm sorry. How many times did you get to the end?
Jamil.
At least 3.
Again?
What do you say?
Jamil, can we get a crash out meter again? Up in this.
Crashing out. I'm calling you out. It's a call out versus a crash out. There's a very clear difference.
Oh, what I did in the chat was a crash out, and that wasn't a call out.
I was about to say, no, jokes aside. No, I was making a joke. I didn't think we were going to take it seriously.
If the shoe fits. Yeah.
This is a pretty important call out, Devin. You basically gave us some pretty free information before we even finished our question.
Wait, is there a Reddit for Survivor Wisconsin that I'm not a part of?
That's why I was surprised when he put this comment up there. So you're trying to like intentionally leak stuff out there. That is if he's actually on. We still have yet to see because for all we know, stuff could change.
If we make a Reddit, that would be cool. Not gonna lie.
And Juice was for those of you who don't remember, Juice was actually a guy. Well, Juice was his nickname, but he played in my first season, Twist Manor. So I would be very excited to see him back. He'd be very fun to see back in return. He's a very chill guy, and I think he has potential. Are Reddit spoilers accurate? I don't know, Devin.
Never. They're never.
Well, I feel like he's throwing us something. So he's trying to throw us
everything.
I don't know.
Everything on the internet is true.
Exactly.
Says the internet.
I was about to say, who are you, my parents? No, jokes aside. No, literally, if Juice does end up coming back, that would be very fun to watch. I would be interested in that, but I'm not sure. Juice has potential. I think he really does. If he was in a different season that wasn't Twit Manor for his first one, I think he could have done better.
The juice is loose. As in Beetlejuice?
I think, yeah. Okay. I was picking up what you were putting at.
Yeah, it took me a minute to get that one. I was like, wait a minute. Winona Ryder in that first one is really good. Like, I love that first movie. It's like a campy feel, and the sequel, not to spoil it, it was very good, but much more darker turn, I feel like. But I loved it. Both of them were really good. Maybe I should make a movie review channel. Different time. Anyways, let me find the next question because
There was none.
I literally no, there was one.
Yeah.
I'm trying to find it. Sorry, that's my bad. I'm trying to find it because there was one that. Oh, here we are. Devin asked, "What was everyone's favorite part from tonight's episode?" Vince and the advantage situation, advantage getting. That's our.
Yeah,
Vince.
Vince is a very entertaining player. I gotta agree with that.
Yeah, Vince
My
losing his advantage to Nolan.
My other two favorite moments were Jimmy having that little confessional I did with him where he's all like, I've done this before. They don't know that though. And he's like kicking, and like Vince is right behind him, not like oblivious to what's going on. Like Jimmy and Vince are just, I'm so happy we put him on the same tribe. Like, my other favorite moment was when Nick's strategizing with everyone. He's like, so, and his eyes like get really wide for a second. He's like, so, and like, I'm like, let's go, Nick. Like, get wide-eyed, get into the game, get into it. Like, let's go. So, sorry, I'll pass it to you guys.
I don't know. I just saw Dan's a little comment there. I find it funny.
Oh yeah, we'll get to that.
We'll get to it.
I see the question. I'm gonna
one day when I take over, but we'll get to that.
No. My favorite is making my job a lot more harder because Philimo just keeps losing.
Ouch.
No, it's fine.
What would my favorite part be? Probably the antics around finding the advantage on Vivese, between Vincent's funny commentary and between Nolan being able to find it to take it for his own and being able to, and finding it in front of Tony, pretty obviously. That's also somewhat hilarious, admittedly. So yeah, that's probably it.
Yeah, there's a lot of fun moments in tonight's episode, so I was really excited to especially for that fun Jimmy thing. I've been waiting for that one to come out, you know. Yeah.
It's fine, Dan. I got to spend a lot more time with you guys, I guess, because last season I barely even went to tribal with the Vuku tribe, anyways. So
yeah, because that was me. Like I went to like 3 to 4 losing tribals.
Yeah,
and had to watch like, that was so funny. Why hasn't Aleks taken over as host tonight yet? I've been having them talk for me more today because I've been a little under the weather today. So my voice has been. I feel like when I was talking earlier, I made a joke that like I sound like the French fry guy from The Simpsons. Where I'm like, would you like some fries with? I can't do it anymore, but like
it's
it was
kind of like speaking. Ratio was like still 50% Richie, then me and Steib kind of evening out for like 25%, basically.
Yeah,
so.
I've been a little under the weather today, and I've been very tired. It's been doing a lot of stuff, running around lately, and you guys can find out some of why I've been running around pretty soon. I just can't say it right now, though. I don't think I can legally say it right now.
You just better keep your voice ready for Wednesday's breakdown.
Yes, for Wednesday's breakdown, which will, Jamil says, this was a great watch. I tried to make sure I got my confessionals last to soak up as much time as possible. That is really good right there. And I will definitely encourage that type of gameplay. Because whenever you're like in a position where you have to go to tribal, you want as much time as possible to go talk to people, go everywhere, like make sure you have the chance to talk to everyone. So if you are having that advantage of being one of the last ones to talk to people, but then all you know, being the first one could also be good too. Because then you also get all the time after without having to worry about it either for confessionals and all that. So because we usually pull them aside for it. Yeah, that's what I think. What do you guys think?
Yeah, that's smart. And you're with how short of time you have to talk between people, getting back from the challenge, you do want to make it a confession short and sweet. And what's up? Is my mic good still?
It is now, yeah. Before it was like,
yeah, I hear you.
And I was trying to like tap on the ear and be like, I can't, like it's.
Or you could just set it. It doesn't have to be. But yeah, you do want to make your confessional short and sweet because you don't get a lot of time within, getting back from the challenge and going to tribal. So I do like how, you can hear it in Jamil's, like talk with I think it was Nick and I think Kayla. Then he just says, then I think Devin or Ben say Jamil a confessional, and he says not yet, and then he finishes his talk, and then he goes. So I did kind of find it funny, and yeah, you've got to use as much time as possible before going to tribal to finish getting votes to your side. So Jamal did a really good job with that.
Getting sassy with them, just being like, I'll go on my time. It's like,
yeah, you got to make the most of your time. So yeah, shout out to Jamil. I mean, you got the sweep. You were the player of the episode. I mean, yeah, no, you played fantastically. And it's funny. He's actually commenting. Season 7 had so many confessionals that lasted forever. Calling out Mr. Funky Town Zach. Apparently,
he made another comment right above that saying like you shouldn't talk forever in confessional either because you're losing precious time to strategize. When he said that, I immediately was about to make a joke about Zach from last season. I'm like, Zach's such a nice guy, but like I remember filming a confessional. It was so long. I'm trying to think like, does he like he has to go talk to his tribe, right? Like, is he gonna like hang out with me the entire day? Like, I mean, like Zach's a nice guy though, so I thought it was pretty funny with how he just kept going on and on. He's probably one of the few people who can out-talk me, which if you know me personally, that's a very big thing. So, but yeah, sorry, Steib. Was there anything else you were gonna say, or?
Oh, no, yeah, I think I said pretty much all I had to.
Nick, I totally forgot about this as well. Totally forgot about this.
Oh yeah,
Nick the Dick just out of nowhere during tribal.
Yeah.
Yeah,
and like
pretty unprovoked.
Because when I was filming, I never heard that at all during like anybody saying like.
That was pretty unprovoked.
It was just out of nowhere as well. I was filming Trouble. Like I never heard that ever.
Yeah, I kind of agree. It was like out of pocket. It was like what? Like that was kind of weird. Like I don't want to like make anyone feel bad about anything, but it was kind of just so like
funny.
Damn. Like,
but yeah, it was just so out of the blue.
There's some other comments that I'm just trying to get to. For the last thing with the confessionals, Rebecca and Zach. Yeah, Rebecca last season commented a lot on confessionals. Zach. Sorry, I thought there was another question. I'm just trying to make sure I didn't miss anything. Production is what you order every round of possible. Oh, that's for the confessional thing. That's for my till before. Okay, maybe there wasn't a question. Maybe I just thought there was. But yeah. Professionals are essential for good TV. Keep them short and sweet, but also make sure the quality's there. Yeah, I definitely agree with that, Dan. I think it definitely gives a good insight to what the players are thinking and make sure that, like, they get to share what's going on because sometimes they don't always get to showcase everything going on. So, yeah.
Is it teaser time?
No, yeah. I thought there was I thought you guys were going to say something. I was waiting for you guys. I'll give like 30 more seconds for questions to come in, and then we're going to move on to the teaser for next episode and close out questions for the night. Nick says, I was like, why is everyone talking behind my back now? It was so funny, though. I feel that, Nick. That was me. Every season, I'm the exact same way. I'm like, what's going on? Who's saying stuff about me? Like, I feel that. I felt for you, Nick. Our tribe really got that. I'm not gonna say the counter was gonna say.
Yeah, Feely Moo got the really like unhinged Devin moments. I feel like this season.
All right.
Going from calling Dan Kitty and then Nick the Dick. It's just kind of like.
I mean, Dan being called.
It's very funny. It's very funny, but like it's just.
Well, I think wasn't the cat thing brought up by Julie actually?
What?
I thought the cat thing was brought up by Julie. Was it Devin? I thought it was Julie.
At Devin. Well, at Tribal Council, Devin called Dan Kitty because of the
okay, fair enough, yeah.
shirt he was wearing. But yeah, it was just so funny because it's just like so out of pocket, but like it makes for really good just like one-liners. So I like it.
Yeah, Nick the Dick definitely felt really. It was random, really out of pocket.
No, but it was harmless fun. It was like last season in New Blood when they were at Tribal Council, and Devin just asked Natalie, so are you pretty confident in staying, or are you shitting your pants here? And then everybody just dies laughing. Like, holy shit.
Yeah.
Just wasn't expecting to hear that.
It's good, it keeps the players on their toes,
Yeah.
All right, so unless we get questions in the next 5-10 seconds while I'm pulling up the sneak peek on my phone that we came up with for the next episode.
All right, good night. Just kidding.
Going what?
Yep.
Going once, going twice. Boom.
It's fine. Let's read the.
Yeah, I was about to. I bumped the wrong button for a second.
Let's read the teaser then. If there's any other questions.
Yeah. All right, so the teaser for Wednesday's episode. Wednesday, new episode at 6 p.m. Central, followed by a live breakdown for Wednesday, September 3rd. The sneak peek. After a blunt blindside, the remaining players fight to keep their game alive, and a shocking twist may cast doom and gloom for some players.
Oh my God! What does that
Quite a lot to unpack there.
Yeah,
I think there's definitely a lot of very interesting things that could happen or could be turning in from that, because people, whenever they hear twist, they automatically think something going on, but it doesn't have to be related to that. Sometimes twists and turns come naturally through people just plotting with each other through the game, so who really knows? That's all I'm going to give you guys this time around. So I think we had another something pop up. What's it? Oh yeah, I was about to say, I literally just said it. Yeah. So what's coming up next? Wednesday episode 6:30, or not 6:30, sorry, 6 p.m. followed by an 8:15 live breakdown with us on Wednesday, and I will then reveal more for the schedule for next week and even potential other fun stuff. With that, unless you guys have anything else you want to say?
No, I think we close it out here.
No, I think this was a fantastic episode, and the ball keeps rolling and the season keeps heating up. So yeah, it's going to be a little different this week because normally we were doing Monday, Thursday, and now we're switching it up a little bit. But yes, please come out Wednesday at 6 p.m. and please come out afterwards at 8:15 as well.
All right. With that in mind, I've been Richie. I've been
Aleks.
I have also been Aleks.
Thank you guys so much for watching. Subscribe to the channel, like this video, go watch our past seasons. We thank you guys so much for watching tonight. We loved having you guys watch us tonight. Really appreciate it for us. Like I said the other day, thanks again for getting our channel to 200 subscribers. And with that in mind, we will see you guys on Wednesday night at 8:15.
See you there.
Peace.